everyone, Jessie here from jessiebanks.com, and I'm completely honored to be doing my first video for Power Poppy. I'm coloring up the Sunshine of My Life digital stamp here, and I blew it up and cropped it, and I made it into, it's an A2 size card when it'll be finished. So we're starting off going in with my greens, and my green combination I use a BG99, and then I jump into YGs. I find that BG color just gives it a lot of depth, and it stays nice and strong in the deepest shadows. Or if I use the YG99, I find that it washes out as I add the other colors a little bit more. It's all a personal preference. Definitely use what you like. You'll see how I go back in later and I add some more green on areas that I didn't know what they were really, honestly. I was like, So I go back in and I add those in after once I realize that, hey, that's greenery. That's not part of the flower because, yeah. So like I said, I'm absolutely ecstatic that Marcella asked me to join them over here, and I am hoping that I do them justice, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. I have lots of other ideas coming, but I figured to start things off, I would just start it off with a basic coloring video for you guys, so yeah. I'm like flabbergasted. Anyway, so I keep all of my shadows on the one side of the stem or on the side of the stem that faces up, because the light is coming from like where the hello there is kind of an area, but where that one flower bends, of course it's going to be on the top, right? Because it's coming down into the side kind of a thing is what I'm imagining. So I'm going in here. I have another video on my YouTube channel where I did the big sunflower and I colored it in yellows and pinks, and I used actually this exact combination. So I'm doing this again, but I add teals too. So you get a little bit of both. But I start by going in with the YR23, and then I use the Y11 just to yellow it all up. And you'll see it slowly. I'll complete this flower before I go on to the next one. So you just slowly work your way around. You can see that I turn my image. I just find it easier to turn the image than try and twist my arm around to get it to where I need. And this way you guys can see a little better as to what I'm doing than when I carry all the way around. So we're brightening that up. What I love about coloring flowers with Copic markers is you don't have to worry about your blending like you do on skin and things like that. The streakiness and the streaks of the lines and everything else adds to the feel of the flower, right? So it keeps it very, very nice and simple and unblended, and I just enjoy it thoroughly. So I added on a few spots, I add at the top of the flower a little bit of the dark, but I'm always pulling it from the center, and I'm following the artist drawn lines. She gives you great direction in her images as to where the darker places should be, or where the petals folds, or where the leaf folds, and things like that. So you get lots of direction from the image. You don't have to make it all up from your brain. So I'm following those lines that are in the image before we start, or before I started coloring it, as to where I'm putting my darker colors. My darker colors flow basically on those lines or on the dotted lines that are in there and things of that nature. And then I slowly lighten it up as I go out. I leave lots of white space. You still see some of the yellow through it when you see it in real life. And when I crop them in like this, I color outside the lines because I'm cutting it all off anyway. Usually when I take this and make this into an A2 size card, what I'll do is I'll cut it 1/8 of an inch inside of those black lines, so like a 1/16 all the way around, so that I don't get the black line in, and then I double mat it on cardstock and it goes on an A2 size card base. So now we're going on to this twisty foldy flower, and again it's the same thing, just adding in those yellow highlights or the yellow shading, and then I'll come in with a teal, and I use the BG 09, 07, and 01 for the teal flowers. Sorry if my big head gets in the way. These are very in-depth images, but they're so worth it when they're finished. I print them off and I'm always looking at them and I'm like, what did I get myself into? And you just take your time and take it flower by flower or petal by petal, section by section kind of thing, like color by color. You know, you do all the green first, then you do all the whatever you want, pink or purple or And you slowly work your way around and eventually it becomes done. All said and done, recording time on this, I did forget to press the record button on the one smaller flower that ends up being pink. But my recording time on this video in real time was 51 minutes. So it took me roughly an hour to color the entire image from start to finish. Now you'll see at one point my fingernails magically become painted. Look at the timing on that one. I really didn't think it was that close. So yeah, I quit coloring and came back to it later and painted my nails in between and didn't think about that in preparation of the video. So that's why you go from naked nails to painted nails. Adding in my darkest color to working towards my lightest. When I do hair and things, usually when I'm doing a flicking technique, I start at my lightest and I work to my darkest. But when I'm doing the flowers, I really want to get my deep in there. And I don't want to cover up all of this yellow. So I go to my darkest color first. Just for the simple fact that I'm afraid that if I go to my lightest color and work my way darker, I'm either A, going to cover up all of the undercolor, or B, I'm going to end up coloring the entire flower in, like the entire petal in, and I want those white gaps and everything to have really strong, bold highlights in each petal. And this is just my personal way that I don't do that, and other people may do it the other way. We all color different, but find what works for you. So now we're going on to the BG07. And again, all the way around, every little petal. Once you get it in, once you go through with your first color, like with your darkest color, it's really easy to pull out the rest because you're just kind of going beside or a little bit further than the others. So all of your lines are now there. You're not, and then the BG0, oh no, I'm still in the 07. Did you see that? The one petal is really, really dark. I know it went by really fast. This is sped up 4 times original speed. But my marker dripped. My BG07 dripped on the flower. And I got so lucky that it filled in that one spot on the flower that was like, it's like it just dissolved directly into that exact place and stayed in between the lines on that. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. Because that could have been catastrophe. And I really wouldn't have wanted to start all over at this point. So when your marker gets really, really juicy at the end, I usually watch them closer than that. I don't know why I wasn't paying attention. But if your marker ever gets to the point where it looks really, really shiny, or you can see like the liquid, like it's going to start to drip, if you pull off the other cap of your marker, it'll suck it right back in. It just means that the marker's unbalanced or there's too much ink in it, one of the two. But either way, if you release both sides, it won't shoot all of that liquid out on you. There you go. You can see where I didn't color in, or I didn't video coloring in that little pink flower. And now I'm coming back in with my green because I decided that these pieces should be part of the greenery, not part of the flower petal. And so it's just the same combination that I used before. And then I'm going to add in the background. And for the background, I gave it a really, really yellow glow. Oh, we do the pot first. There's 2 pieces of the pot. And I used 2 different colors. I used a purple and a brown, the E70 range and the V90s. And in all honesty, they look almost the same anyway, just because it ended up being so faint and so light, and there's just such a tiny amount of it. Oh, look, and I forgot about these too. The inside is of the flowers. I've really enjoyed using the BV20s for the insides of my flowers instead of using the browns like some flowers usually have. Why, I'm not sure. I just think it looks really pretty. So that's what I've been doing. And the benefit in coloring flowers is nothing has to be realistic. If you want it to be, you can. You can definitely follow proper colors and things of that nature. But you can also go completely off the wall and have a yellow or have a bright pink and a teal sunflowers and with bluey purple centers, and nobody's going to tell you it's wrong. Because everything's okay in card making, and you can do whatever your little heart desires. And it's amazing and wonderful. It makes me happy, and that's why I do it. Working that out, and then I'm going to do the pot. I got ahead of myself. I do that often. So again, it's those artist drawn lines. She gives you complete direction as to where everything needs to be laid in and what should be your darks and what should be where your light should go. Which takes a lot of the guesswork out of images like this, which is awesome. It makes them so easy to color. And this is the V90s. So the color's slightly different, but it's really not that drastic. If I was to do it again now, I would probably just make them the same color. But that's alright. Now we're going to do the background. So this is where I add a yellow glow, and it actually took me about 20 minutes to decide what I was going to do to this. I was like, oh, I could make it blue, and then I'm like, oh, but my flowers are teal, and I really don't want it blue, and I'm like, pink would be really nice. Wait, I colored the flowers pink. And I ended up going with the yellow just to give it like a real nice, we're coming into fall here, and like the crops are all turning golden yellow, and they're, you know, they're swathing and they're combining, and everything's kind of those fall colors are really starting to come into fruition, which means winter is coming, but that's a whole nother topic. But I like those real warm yellows and browns and oranges and reds and all those fall tones. And I was just like, let's make it glow. So I went with yellows, and I used the YR 24, 23, and then I used a YR 31 instead of the 21. The 31's just a little bit lighter. And then I just used my 0 to kind of blend it out a little bit more and soften it all up. And I work in smaller sections here instead of going all the way around because I don't want that ink to completely dry while I switch to another color. And I was afraid that if I started at one end and just went all the way around the image with the darkest color and then the next color and the next color, that my ink would be drying in between before I could get back to it, like before I could get the YR 23 over top of the YR 24. And I wanted to not have that happen so that it blended a little better. It's not perfect blending anyway. Wasn't really after that, but it's the way I did it, I guess. So we slowly worked our way around. I hope you guys enjoyed this coloring. Definitely give me a thumbs up on my YouTube channel if you enjoyed it. If you're over on the Power Poppy blog, you should definitely leave me a comment. Let me know if you enjoyed the tutorial, what kind of things you'd like to see, all that fun stuff. If you're from my YouTube channel, you should definitely go check out the Power Poppy blog, that's for sure. Marcella's flower images are to die for. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.